912 Sports, Southeast Georgia's #1 source for high school sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, a weekly look at high school sports in Southeast Georgia, featuring coaches, players, and journalists who know the ins and outs of prep athletics. Presented by the award-winning writers and broadcasters of 912 Sports, and sponsored by Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, and Gibson Animal Clinic. Now, this week's headline.
Welcome, sports fans. Week 9 is upon us. It's hard to believe, but there's only 4 weeks left in the regular season. This week's show includes the Ross's recap. Kevin Price will take an in-depth look at the Glenn South Effingham game. Robbie Ross will review Richmond Hill's win over Effingham. And I'll take a look back at the big clash in Region 1-5A between Ware and Coffee. The 912 Sports Game of the Week is Colquitt at Camden County. We'll chat with Coach Jeff Herron as he readies his Wildcats for region play. All that and more right here on Air with 912 Sports. Thanks for watching.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Time again for the Ross recap on 912 Sports, looking at area scores from around the 912 last Friday, and a big Friday night it was. Our game of the week for 912 Sports, Ware County went up to Jardine Stadium in Douglas and absolutely put it to the Coffee County Trojans, 35-3. Ware County, I think, was probably a little angry during the off week after that loss to the Benedictine Cadets. 35-3, Ware County over Coffee in our game of the week. Brunswick puts themselves directly in the driver's seat, or driving seat, however you want to say it, with a 21-0 win over Statesboro. They are in the driver's seat to win the region championship into 6A. Jeff Davis over Vidalia 26-7. It was Pierce over Brantley County to open region play 35-6. Turner County held on to beat Clinch County 38-35. It was Appling County all over Long County 41-8. Big matchup this week between Long and Brantley County. Toombs County over Bacon 56-3. Richmond Hill over Effingham County 28-6. They get back on the winning side of things after losing to Statesboro 2 weeks ago. It was Frederica Academy. They got well with quarterback Thomas Veal back at the helm over Memorial as Frederica begins region play this week. Big win to get a good taste in their mouth heading into region play, 53-6 over Memorial. Glen Academy still has a say in the region championship race, or at least the region standings, of course, as we head to the regular season stretch. They beat South Effingham 38-0. It was Windsor Forest defeating Liberty County 12-6. New Hampstead over Beach 50-12. Robert Toombs Academy got a win for their program. Big win over Fullington 21-19. And it was Veterans 24-7 in that all-important region of doom there in 5A. Veterans gets a leg up in the playoff hunt. Of course, 4 out of the 5 teams will make it. One team will stay home in that region. I'm Robbie Ross. This has been the Ross Recap for 912 Sports.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal!
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Call on us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, across from Harvey's in Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Hello, everybody. Kevin Price for On Air with 912 Sports. This past Friday night, I was out once again at Glenn County Stadium for Glenn Academy's homecoming game against South Effingham. The Red Terrors rolled to a 38-0 victory over the Mustangs, so it was a happy homecoming night for Glenn Academy. The Red Terrors with the win go to 3-3-1 overall, 2-1 in region play as Glenn wins back-to-back region games after losing that tough game to Brunswick a few weeks back in overtime to start out the region schedule. The Mustangs still have only one win overall in the season and now have dropped their first 3 league games, including the last 2 in Brunswick to both Brunswick High and Glenn Academy. But the Red Terrors, pitching that shutout, their first of the season, had a good game from several guys on defense as they played good team defense overall and kept the Mustangs pretty much bottled up the night long. Several guys were around the ball, seemed like all night long for the Red Terrors. DJ Clinch has been a consistent performer up front for the Red Terrors. He played well again on the defensive line. Young Peyton Parker, a sophomore linebacker, also played well for Glenn around the football all night, made a lot of tackles. And then also Drayshawn Stevens comes to mind. He was around the football a lot, recovered a fumble for Glenn Academy by the Mustangs deep in their own territory early in the second half to set up one of Glenn's touchdowns to get them going again in the second half. So a good all-around effort by the Red Terrors on defense. And then offensively, some of the highlights, Tyler Devlin, the junior quarterback for the Red Terrors, with a big night throwing and running the football. He actually accounted for all 5 Glenn Academy touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, both on sneak plays from just outside the goal line. Also threw 3 touchdown passes. His first was on 3rd and goal from the 12 on Glenn Academy's opening drive of the ball game. He hit Jackson Wakeland in the left corner of the end zone to get Glenn Academy off and running. He also threw a 56-yard touchdown pass on 3rd down and 26 to DJ Riley. So that was his second touchdown pass of the night. That actually capped off a 99-yard drive by the Red Terrors, and it came after a 40-yard touchdown pass to Greg Peacock was wiped out by a penalty, which of course put the Red Terrors behind the chains. On that drive, it was actually kept alive from the 8-yard line on 3rd and 2 on a 52-yard run by Zach Ellis into Mustang territory before the Red Terrors went to the air for the touchdown. Ellis, speaking of him, ran the ball hard and with authority all night long, ended up catching a touchdown pass from Devlin later in the ball game for Devlin's 3rd touchdown pass of the night. But again, an all-around good game for the Glenn Academy offense as well. The 38 points by the Red Terrors, their new season high. Their previous high was the 35 that they scored last week against Bradwell, and also earlier this season at home against Winder Barrow when they won their first ball game of the year. So now Glenn Academy getting set to go back on the road this week for a region game at Effingham. The Rebels were beaten 28-6 this past Friday night at Richmond Hill. Speaking of Richmond Hill, they will come to Brunswick this Friday night to take on the Brunswick High School Pirates, the only team still unbeaten in Region 2-6A. Richmond Hill, the only team to defeat BHS in region play last year. We'll see what happens between the bricks at Glenn County Stadium when those 2 teams meet this year. I'll be back next week with a report on that game. So until then, may God bless you in the 912.
This is Robbie Ross with your Richmond Hill update on 912 Sports. Richmond Hill got to 1-1 in the region, defeating Effingham County 28-6 after faltering on the road, or actually to 2-1 in the region, I should say, after faltering on the road to Statesboro last week in a close one at Womack Field in the rain in Bullock County. Effingham 1-1 in the region after having an off week last week, defeating South Effingham in their first region game. The scoring got started in the first quarter. A 35-yard touchdown run by Ryan Deacle made it 7-0 Richmond Hill. A 3-yard touchdown run by freshman Wildcat quarterback Caleb Easterling made it 14-0. A couple of interceptions an interception for Effingham could not be cashed in by the Wildcats. Missed a field goal and a penalty-heavy drive that did not produce any points. And right before the half, a long bomb was completed by Ty Goldrick to Rayvon Grant. 80-yard touchdown pass, make it 21-0 at the break. Richmond Hill did their final scoring of the night with 5:43 to go in the third quarter. A 27-yard run by Easterling, making it 28-6. Effingham got on the board, a 47-yard touchdown pass to make it 28-6. Traded interceptions to end the third quarter, and then a missed field goal by Richmond Hill in the fourth quarter as time went down. It was 28-6 final score. Richmond Hill wins it over Effingham. The Pirates head to Brunswick to take on, Richmond Hill heads to take on the Pirates in Brunswick on Friday night. Perennial region favorite Brunswick in the driver's seat now in the region, so it'll be a tough road to hoe for the Wildcats. I'm Robbie Ross. This has been the Richmond Hill Wildcat Recap on 912 Sports.
Sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and it's official. The Border War Trophy will stay in Ware County for one more year as the Ware County Gators go over to Jordan Stadium and in convincing fashion beat the Coffee County Trojans by a final score of 35-3. The much-maligned Ware County defense, after giving up 49 points to Benedictine 2 weeks ago, was on display at Jordan Stadium. They showed up and they showed out. As a matter of fact, the clip you're watching right here is the closest the Trojans would get to scoring all night long. The Ware County Gators held them out of the end zone, only giving up 3 points on the night. So a fantastic comeback performance there from the Ware County defense. They pretty much shut down everything all night long that Coffee tried to throw at them, whether it be running Maurice Turner, whether it be throwing the ball to Maurice Turner. The Ware County defense had an answer. So congratulations to those guys. Offensively, the Gators were able to put up 35 on the vaunted defense of Coffee County. Coffee County came into the contest only averaging giving up some few points a game, 6.7 or whatever it was. But the Gators were able to hang 35 on them. So big night, of course, again from Thomas Castellano. He did it both with his legs and through the air. He had two pass touchdowns. He was 13 of 20 on the night for 234 yards. James Daniels, number 2, the wide receiver for the Gators, had a big night, 95 yards on 4 receptions and a touchdown. And then Jarvis Hayes with a big, long touchdown, 2 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown. But the star of the night had to be number 5, Cartavius Norton for the Ware County Gators. He just pounded that rock all night. Didn't take a whole lot of carries, only carried the ball 12 times, but he rushed for 124 yards and 2 touchdowns. He pretty much was the man all night long. Coffee really didn't have an answer for him, but he wasn't alone. Thomas did it with his legs as well. 10 carries for 63 yards and a touchdown. And, oh, by the way, Dennison came in a couple times when Cartavius got hurt, and number 34 there for the Gators, and did a beautiful job. 7 carries for 66 yards on the night. All that adds up to 487 total yards that the Gators were able to put on the board there, and come away with a 35-3 victory over the Coffee County Trojans. And again, that Border War Trophy will stay safely and securely at Ware County High School over the next 365 days. Gators got a big one coming up Friday night. A little bit different animal coming to town. They will get to come back to the friendly confines of Memorial Stadium, but the Warner Robins Demon Deacons, who may be the best football team in the state of Georgia, regardless of classification, come calling on the Gators. So we'll see if they have an answer. But for right now, Gators sitting there at 1-0 in the region, on top of Region 1-5A after a 35-3 victory over the Coffee County Trojans. Thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robinson. son's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Price along with Coach Aaron down here in Kingsland. The Wildcats getting set for the game of the week, Camden County against Colquitt County, our 912 Sports game of the week. Coach Aaron, you're back in Region 1 here in Georgia in Class 7A, starting region play after a long 7-game non-region schedule. I know you're probably going to tell me the Wildcats aren't ready for region play, or you don't know if you're ready for region play, but are you excited about getting into the ball games that really count, I guess?
Well, we are. We had a rough out last time. I think we would be excited to play anybody at this point, no matter what. But, the stakes are high. We know we're going to do. It's time to perform. And we've been working on that. We've been working on building self-confidence. We've been working on what it is. We've been doing all those things to get us to this point. So,
well, Coach, talk about that. I mean, since you've gotten here, and certainly since you started the season, and really it's no different than anybody else. You kind of played the non-region schedule to get ready for region play, but that's certainly been the case with you guys and getting your program installed again, the offensive schemes, the defensive schemes, getting ready to go into region play to be the best team you could be at this point. So, I mean, you're 4-3. You've been in every ball game, I guess, with a chance to win in the second half, with maybe the exception of the last game against Warner Robins. But just talk about where you are as a football team compared to maybe where you hoped you would be or where you thought you would be at this point.
Well, I certainly did feel I but we have had a non-mistake. I didn't expect any of the losses, but we did. As I said, it is a process. It's a process that other than Warner Robins, I really felt like last year it's still years. Worried about what happened. We hope that we can do that.
Yes, he had Colquitt this week in the road game against Tibbs, the middle game, and then back at home against Lowndes to finish out the season. So kind of a quick 3-game sprint to the finish line. And Coach, I guess we're going to maybe let people in on a little secret here, but when you got the job, I guess, as soon as you came down here, really before spring practice and kind of got the kids going in an off-season training program when you were still finishing up your duties there with Tennessee Tech, you asked them to put what you thought your record might be this year, just on paper, and you pulled it out, and it was a little bit all over the place. But not really what you wanted to see or what you might have seen from past Camden teams, undefeated or 15-0 and things like that. It was 500 regular seasons and things like that. And this summer, y'all had a shirt, I think, that might not be quoting it right, but it all starts with belief. And maybe some of the games y'all lost, like the Marietta in particular. I mean, y'all were right there in that ball game in the fourth quarter. The first sign of adversity. It's not like the kids quit, they maybe just didn't respond to it. And past gaming teams, it would have been no sweat, that just pick it up and go, and you might have won that ball game. So when you're losing, it hasn't really been all about X's and O's, has it? I mean, a lot of it's been kind of mental or psychological or emotional too. Is that correct?
Well, something you refer to that is mental toughness. There's going to come adversity in every game. It's how you respond to it. After the first couple of years, we always responded positively. And we were willing to felt like respond out. I remember the last time I was in this down the field. Drive, scored that quick. Got behind again. There's another 8-yard drive. Scored that quick. Certainly, you didn't walk out of that game until after you were getting where they were supposed to do it. I mean, you did everything you could to win. We haven't done that. I think it's easy to really believe that. It's the good kid who's work hard. We have to go out and find and feel ourselves away from mental toughness. We only the first year. Let's go fight back. That's the thing. Losing, unfortunately, when you lose, that makes it tough to do. That's some issue. All you can do is keep the process going. At some point, it'll come. You're hoping it'll come this right time. You got to keep that process going. I don't want to be a player. I've always tried to be a fighter. I've always tried to believe in myself, people around. You just have to get better.
Well, Coach Fisher said trust the process, and they trusted it, and they beat Alabama Saturday. But Coach, we picked this game as the game of the week because it is your return to Region 1 where Camden was when you left here, and of course Talkwood got that going as one of the premier teams in the state under Coach Probst, and of course Coach Rogers has kept it going, and he's bringing a good Packers team down here Friday, one of the top 5 teams in the state in 7A according to the rankings. But you look at this team, you refer to their all-star defensive staff, a lot of good former head coaches on that sideline, and of course a really good offensive football team. So just talk about what you see when you flip on the film and look at the Packers as you get ready to go against them.
Well, first of all,
All right, Coach. Well, we appreciate your time. We know you got a big fish to fry this week, as always, and good luck to you as you go through this regional schedule, and we look forward to talking to you as you go through it, and good luck to the Wildcats this week. Appreciate it. Thank you, Coach.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports, joined as always by writer and podcast host Kevin Price. Kevin, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, Sean. Just looking forward to another high school football Friday night already in mid-October, man. I can't believe it. I know I kind of say that every week, but football season's really flying by already.
Yeah, I mean, you look down, you got 4 weeks left of, regular season play. Then we get into season 3, which is the playoffs, and some weird games last Friday night, some stuff that people weren't expecting all over the state. But like I said, we got another big night coming up this Friday night. We're going to start it off, Kevin, with our game of the week, and that's Colquitt at Camden County. This will be Jeff Herron's return to region, 17A there, and get back in the battle there with Lowndes and Tift and Colquitt. And Colquitt Packers will be coming to town this week. Colquitt 6-1 on the season. Camden sitting there, I believe it's 3-2. Or are they 4-2? Maybe 4-2.
4-3.
Oh, 4-3. Okay, 4-3. So they've already played 7 games. Should be another dogfight there, Kevin, in Chris Gilman Stadium on Friday night.
Yeah, it should be. And, of course, Coach Herron's gotten a lot of hype, returning back to Camden and all that. And, we've certainly, gone along with that refrain. But I don't know that it's about Jeff Herron anymore. I think it's about the Camden County Wildcats. Certainly, if they were to win this ball game or win a game in the state playoffs, I know that's going to continue to come up. Jeff Herron has the Cats rolling and whatnot. But, yes, it's his return to the region that Camden was in when he left down there. Of course, he coached at Grayson before he really got out of Georgia high school football. And, of course, now he's back down in Kingsland. And, look, this Camden team has improved, Sean. I really do think they have, even though they have the 4-3 record. I think they've improved from start to right now. They won every game they should. They won all those games pretty much convincingly going away. The games they lost were to, ranked teams, basically. I mean, they lost on the road at Marietta. They had a chance in that game going into the fourth quarter. The bottom fell out on them. They didn't respond to the first sign of adversity they had, and that was it. Then a couple of weeks later, they get in a dogfight, a low-scoring game over there in Jardine Stadium in Douglas, leading that game 7-3 against the Trojans, who are good on both sides of the football, despite that score Friday night against Ware. We'll talk about that more in a moment. But Camden let a big play go for a touchdown, a play they had not seen before from Coffee. So that was a great coaching job by the Trojans, and they lost a tough game 10-7, but probably played as well execution-wise, Sean, on both sides of the ball as they had all year, and maybe even in special teams as well. So if there was a good loss, that was one. And now the other night, of course, 2 weeks ago against Warner Robins, hey, they just ran into a buzzsaw. They were in that ball game late in the half. Warner Robins did what they do. They scored in a hurry, scored in a flash right before the half, came right back out, did it again in the third quarter, and it was Katie bar the door. And we usually don't see that against a Jeff Herron Camden team, and we might not see that in the future, but right now we did. But here we go. This is what Camden has been looking forward to getting to, get down to this region schedule, be as good as they can be. And, Sean, they've got the 2 big dogs, if you will, as you know, Colquitt and Lowndes at home. A lot of people before the season started felt like that Camden could get at least one of those teams at home, get a win, and maybe at least slide into that second spot. I do think that's realistic, Sean. I really do. I don't think this Colquitt team is maybe as good as some of the Colquitt teams in the past, but, hey, they have only one loss. They're 6-1. They are ranked 5th in the state in 7A, so by no means are they a slouch. But I do think Camden has a shot to either get this one against the Pack or the one in a couple of weeks against Lowndes, and hopefully they can get that one over in Tifton against Tift.
Yeah, Colquitt lost against a very good Westlake team, Kevin. And Lowndes got taken to the mat last week to Cedar Grove. Had to win with hardly no time on the clock. Did win that game by 7. Scored with, I think, 3 or 4 seconds on the clock. So, listen, both of these teams are not what we have expected and what we've seen over the past, 3 or 4 years. I mean, there was a couple of years that Lowndes we thought could, beat the Steelers, and then, Colquitt's had their run with Probst back, and then they've been good the last couple of years under Rodgers as well. So one of those games is definitely gettable, and who knows, Kevin, ball bounces your way. You could get both of them and go into that, go into the playoffs as a number 1 seed. But going to be a good one Friday night at Chris Gilman Stadium. Going to be packed. So like I said, if you're a Camden County fan or if you're looking for a game to go to, that'll definitely be one to put on the list there. But Kevin, let's move along. We've got Tattnall at Appling County. The reason why we're going to talk about this game is because Tattnall is a much improved football team over this year, Kevin. 5-1 on the season, just beat a big 6A school in Bradwell this past Friday night. They're going into this region play. Neither one of these teams, have a region loss as of yet. And like I said, this will be for I guess a tie for first place in the region because you've already got Pierce sitting there at 1-0. So it'll be interesting to see how well Tattnall has improved. But Appling, man, they've been so strong all year long. I mean, beat everybody they played. They're 7-0 on the season. But again, this is not your daddy's Tattnall team coming to town.
That's right. And Sean, this may not be the best comparison, but I know we probably have a lot of Georgia Bulldog fans out there maybe listening, and they may not be familiar with Tattnall or maybe even Appling to that point. So in a roundabout way, Sean, this is a little bit like Georgia versus Arkansas a few weeks ago, or Georgia versus this Kentucky team coming to Athens on Saturday. Appling's the big dog in the fight. But just like Arkansas, just like Kentucky, here's this Tattnall team feeling good about itself, having a great season. Should not win the ball game, but they've got the shot that they've wanted, that they've been looking for, and here they are. They're on the big stage. You're right. They maybe have not played the toughest schedule in the world, but at the end of the day, hey, they've only lost one ball game. They're 5-1. This is their region opener. Appling is 1-0. But when you look at the stats, Sean, Appling has outscored their opponents 261-50. We knew they were tough on defense and were loaded for bear on offense, so that's not a shocker. But look at this Tattnall team. They've outscored their opponents 180-71. It is what it is, Sean, like some of our coaches like to say. That's good stuff. So here's Tattnall with a chance. They're playing with house money. Go lay it on the line, take some risk, go for it on 4th and 2 on your side of the field, maybe out closer to the 50-yard line or something, but do some razzle-dazzle type plays and go out and give it your best, and whatever happens, chalk it up and move on.
Yeah, exactly. So, but moving right along, Kevin, we're going to move into the Warner Robins at Ware game. We're all shocked at what happened Friday night, or Sean is. Listen, I thought Ware would win the ball game against Coffee County. I did not think they would go over there and basically, dominate that game from kickoff. 35-3 was the final. So Ware coming off of that tough loss to Benedictine late in the game, 49-42, definitely redeemed themselves. As a matter of fact, I talked about it in my my recap. That defense that was much maligned, giving up 42 points to Benedictine, shut Coffee down, only allowed 3 points on the night. They pretty much had an answer for everything that Coffee did. Now, listen, Coffee was down a bunch of running backs. I get that, and that's what Coffee wants to do. They want to run the football. But again, just a really, really good performance from Ware County, and it sets yourself up, by the way, for the best team probably in the state of Georgia to be coming to the Memorial Stadium on Friday night, and that's the Warner Robins Demon Deacons, and they're all they're for real, Kevin. I mean, they're everything you want in a high school football team. You look what they were able to do to Lee County. You look what they were able to do to Camden County. This team is legit, and the Gators are going to have their hands full Friday night.
Yeah, for sure. This could be a shootout at the OK Corral. I don't know, but we'll see. But yeah, Sean, I wasn't like you. I wasn't surprised at all that Ware won that football game. I thought that could go either way. Both of these teams are great teams here in Southeast Georgia and have a chance to go far in Class 5A if they can stay healthy and be healthy, come state playoff time. And this is turning out to be maybe a lot like it was last year. Either Ware's going to finish first or second, largely depending on what happens in that game or this game here Friday night. It looks like Coffee, unless they can surprise Warner Robins, might be right back in that 3 seed again. And, of course, they went to the semifinals last year out of that 3-hole. So we talked about what that game last week could mean, and now here we are talking about this one. For Ware County, it's a chance to possibly upset the apple cart and finish first in the region, or do like you did last year, settle for the second spot but hope to get another shot at Warner Robins later on down the line, which would be in the state championship game because they would be on opposite sides of the bracket if both teams made it that far. But, yeah, Sean, I mean, obviously Ware has the offense to get in a shootout with Warner Robins. This Warner Robins team can score in bunches. We saw it against Lee. We saw it against Camden. You give them an opening, you turn the ball over on your side of the 50-yard line, you're in trouble. They take advantage of stuff like that. They return kicks and punts. Against both of those teams, Camden and Lee, they returned kickoffs, for touchdowns. I think the one against Camden actually got called back, but it is what it is. So they have big play ability on offense and on special teams and really on defense too. So you've got to kind of keep them from exploding on you, scoring in bunches like that and getting on a roll. If you can get them in a tight ball game, it'll be interesting to see how they can respond. So, I think that was a big confidence booster for that Ware defense because I thought maybe going into that game, the Coffee defense could be the difference in the ball game if they could slow down TC12 and company, but that obviously didn't happen. And you're right, Coffee is a little bit hurting on offense right now, even though they do have good balance between the run and the pass. But we know Ware has the offense. If they can play defense like that again, keep this game close, who knows how Warner Robins will respond to that.
Yep. And moving right along, Kevin, we'll get into the Long County versus Brantley County. The reason we bring this game up, we got a 3-4 team against a 2-4 team, Kevin. A playoff spot's on the line, basically. Whoever wins this game are going to be in pretty good shape to make the state playoffs. Both of these teams much improved over last year. I think Long was winless on the season. Brantley County, I believe, only had one win, and that was against Long. But both of those teams already with wins in the win column this year. Long coming up with 3 wins, Brantley sitting there at 2. This game is at Caney Bay, so it might be a little bit advantage there for Brantley. But I tell you, Mike Feaster has got those Long County Blue Tide playing really well this year. So I'll be interested at the end of Friday night to see who comes out with this victory and puts herself in pretty good shape to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. I think Long County is definitely better, and I think the thing about Brantley is they do have a little more offensive firepower than they did last year when they were certainly in rebuilding mode. The interesting thing about this is Brandon Derrick, who used to coach with Jeff Cannon, has already played both Brantley and Long. So I don't know that he'll give any secrets away to Long because he is really good friends with Coach Cannon. So maybe he has a wrinkle or two that he can share with Coach Cannon that might make a difference in that ball game. I'm sure those guys have talked, going into this ball game. But, Sean, look here. You go back to Tatnall, they're throwing a monkey wrench into this situation. Yep. Everybody expects, Appling and Pierce to be 1 or 2, depending on how that game turns out between those two at the end of the season. Last year, it was, Brantley and Long playing for that, playoff spot. But here's Tatnall right now sneaking into that mix. And whoever loses this game, Sean, might actually be sitting out the postseason if they don't win this ball game Friday night. We still have to see how it all plays out. But so this is maybe even bigger than it was last year from that standpoint, if you really look at things in the big picture.
Yep. Yeah, well, like I said, going to be a good one there in Caney Bay. But we'll move right along. Jeff Davis at Toombs. The reason why we're talking about this game, not so much as Toombs County, because they really haven't done that much this year. Had a big win over Bacon County this past Friday night. I think they won 2 weeks ago. Can't remember who that was against. Kind of struggled at the beginning of the year. But Jeff Davis, Kevin, is rolling, brother. I mean, big win this past Friday night. Big 52-0 win over Bacon a couple weeks ago. And Jeff Davis looks for real in 2A and could be making some noise come state playoff time.
Yeah, looking really good so far right now. And Coach Lance Helton, is doing a great job with that program. And who cannot want to play for that guy? I'm sure, they could go out and lay it on the line for him every Friday night. And right now it looks like football is fun on Friday nights for Jeff Davis over there in Hazelhurst. You're right, 7-0, 2-0 in the region play after the win Friday night over Vidalia, 26-7. Now here comes Toombs at 3-3. I think they're 1-0 in region play. When you look at this Jeff Davis team, I mean, they had good balance between 2 running backs last week, both going over 100 yards. I know their defense is pretty good too, but Sean, again, when you look at the big picture, I mean, AA is tough. Here's Jeff Davis sitting in the 5-hole, but some other teams in South Georgia in front of them in the rankings, if you take them for what they're worth, Thomasville, Bleckley County, also Fitzgerald. So, before they even get down to the semifinals or the finals, if you really want to think that far ahead, they might have to run into one of these teams somewhere early in that playoff bracket. Honestly, I haven't looked at the AA playoff bracket to see exactly what it looks like. But Jeff Davis has a chance to make some noise with the way they're playing right now if they can keep this momentum going into the playoffs.
Well, when you're wearing the Navy, brother, you're as good as gold. So
that's right.
But moving right along, we got Richmond Hill at Brunswick. Kevin, Brunswick still on a roll, undefeated on the season, undefeated in the region, and really looking for that region title this year. Richmond Hill, a team that beat them last year and cost them a straight out region title. Brunswick got a share with that 3-way tie last year. But this game's going to be a little bit interesting. This game is played between the bricks there. You'll be on the call this Friday night. But let us know what you think about this ball game.
Well, right now, Brunswick is looking good. They're the only team in Region 2-6A, still undefeated overall and certainly in the region, sitting there at 3-0 halfway through the region schedule. Richmond Hill, one of the teams with one loss, along with Glenn and Statesboro, right there. And, of course, I guess Effingham now has, one loss as well after losing to Richmond Hill the other night. Richmond Hill may have played their best ball game the other night against Effingham at home, 28-6. I know their quarterback threw for over 200 yards, and obviously they gave a good defensive effort against Effingham in that game. So maybe things are starting to shape up and round into form for Richmond Hill after a tough start. But, yeah, Brunswick so far, Sean, has done a good job of handling their success. They've kind of taken this one game a week approach, a championship on the line every week, and certainly the narrative ought to be pretty easy this week for the Pirates. These high school kids thrive off that revenge factor, avenging losses from years past, and certainly last year Richmond Hill was the one team that beat them in region play. It is the reason the Pirates at the end of the day were caught up in that 3-way tie with Glenn, Richmond Hill, and themselves. And, of course, Glenn beat Richmond Hill to create that as well. But Brunswick had already taken care of business against Glenn and got tripped up here against Richmond Hill. And then with the way the tiebreaker went, they ended up settling for the third spot. Won on the road in the opening round, but then ran into that buzzsaw named Lee County in the second round, and that was a tough matchup to have to play them over there. So Brunswick definitely came into this season looking to finish 1 or 2, but certainly – obviously won, and now they've got a really good shot at it here late in the season, particularly if they can get over this hurdle that is Richmond Hill. It should be smooth sailing to the finish line. If they can, they would have Bradwell and Effingham. Should beat Bradwell, and then I guess with the Effingham game being the one at the end, I believe, unless they're reading headlines and doing things like that, looking at 10-0 or maybe looking at that playoff bracket, they should win that game as well.
Yeah, like I said, on a roll and a stout performance from that defense last week, shutting out Statesboro. Statesboro's got some dudes. Got a big running back, got them two brothers that are quarterback and receiver, and to hold those guys scoreless, that was a pretty strong effort there from Coach Tedder's defense there on that side of the ball. But moving right along, Kevin, we got Charlton at Brooks. This is a top 10 matchup in Single A. Charlton County coming off that loss to Turner, 13-7, which was a weird score. We had a lot of Charlton fans complaining about the officiating that game, and everybody thought, Turner got one give to him. Well, Turner turned around last week and beat Clinch. I know it was a late second comeback, but hey, Turner's sitting there 2-0 in the region. Charlton's on the outside looking in. Everybody else is as well. Brooks already got a loss to Irwin. So this region, which is by far the best region in Single A public, but a lot of stuff, a lot of moving parts in this deal. If Charlton some way finds a way to go over there and get this one from Brooks, man, who knows what's going to happen in that region.
Well, I tell you what, again, Turner's throwing a monkey wrench into this region as well because, everybody knew Irwin and Brooks, could possibly finish 1 and 2. They're both right there high in the rankings in Class Single A Public, with the chance to certainly win the Single A State Championship. Charlton has been maybe a little bit of a surprise with the start of their season, just with the one loss so far. But, they got the setback against Turner. I tell you what, though, Sean, that 1-point victory over Clinch is reigning large right now because that could maybe very well be the difference in a playoff berth or sitting at home for the Indians. Right now, Clinch at 0-2 because of that loss to Charlton and that loss to Turner, both in tough fashion, but they're definitely right now on the outside looking in terms of the playoff picture. So obviously every win you get is precious, important. And look, this would be an upset if Charlton were to beat Brooks. I mean, Brooks has playmakers all over their offense, some good running backs, a good quarterback, a big playmaker out there at receiver. Freeman's going to have that defense running around trying to lay the wood to people. So, again, it's kind of like Charlton's playing with house money in this ball game, but Charlton's had a good season. They've had time to stew over that Turner loss, and we'll see if they can get back on the victory train this week with a big win over Brooks.
Yeah, but got to try to find a way to win one or two more in this region if you can. It's going to be tough because, like I said, there's no gimmies from this point in for Charlton County, especially in that region. But we're just going to run through the other games here, Kevin. We've got Bacon at Swainsboro, Statesboro at Bradwell, Atco at Clinch, Coffee at Wayne. See how Coffee responds to that game, against Ware as they travel over to JC Stadium Friday night. Glenn at Effingham, another big 6A region contest there, Kevin. Bullock Academy at Frederica. Savannah at Liberty. Liberty having a tough season. I think they got beat again last Friday night. MCA at Metter. This is another big single A game. Metter's been rolling, hung 60 on South Effingham earlier in the season. MCA's playing for a playoff spot. That should be a good one over in Metter. New Hampstead at Islands. Coach, Kyle Hockman's got New Hampstead rolling. They've got some playmakers over there. As a matter of fact, our player of the week last week was a young man there from New Hampstead, 327 yards on the night. So quite a performance there for New Hampstead. Brentwood's going to be at Robert Toombs Christian Academy. Benedictine's going to travel down to South Effingham. That's not good for South Effingham, Kevin. These guys can score. They'll score 25 points at halftime. So, and then you got East Lawrence at Vidalia. Vidalia coming off that loss last week. So we'll see if they can get back in the win column there against East Lawrence. But a great night of high school football coming up this Friday the 15th. Get out and check out your local game. Appreciate you watching On Air with 912 Sports. But until next time, may all your check marks go in the win column.
This has been On Air with 912 Sports. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with more coverage of Southeast Georgia high school sports. On Air with 912 Sports has been brought to you by Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, Prime South Bank, Gibson Animal Clinic, Coastal Pines Technical College, Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, and Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with Crossway Realty. This has been a presentation of 912 Sports, Southeast Georgia.